Destruction of paratroopers from the 108th Guards Airborne Division who fled from the positions of the Ukrainian armed forces in the Kamyanske district of the Zaporizhia region.
Don't forget to leave your opinion about the video in the comments, subscribe, and like.
Arrival of Russian Jarani in the TCK in the Cherkasy region. The moment a Russian FPV UAV reaches a Grad MLRS-style vehicle belonging to the Ukrainian armed forces, great panic ensues.
Не спіши, порядок, не спіши. Нормально, держимося, нормально. Вони підари ждали. Нормально все, живий? Так. Тихо, тихо, ями, порядочок, нормально. Я ж казав, що назад, давай, нормально.
Unique images. How was Kamyansky captured? Recently, some sections of the front line, which had been dormant for months, began to stir. The fighting continued there, but it was primarily a trench war. Kamyansky was recently liberated by assault units of the 108th Guards Airborne Assault Kuban Cossack Regiment and the 247th Guards Airborne Assault Caucasus Cossack Regiment, both part of the Novorossiysk Guards Airborne Assault Mountain Brigade. These units were part of the Dnipro unit group. First, they captured the positions as they approached the settlements. Then, small assault groups secretly crossed the Yanchakrak River and approached enemy positions on the outskirts of the city along the bed of the dried-up Kakhovka Reservoir. They neutralized all Ukrainian armed forces personnel present and secured their positions on the southeastern outskirts. With the support of airstrikes, artillery fire, and FPV attack drones, they consolidated their superiority over the enemy and began systematically pushing Ukrainian forces out of the city meter by meter. The enemy attempted to retake the lost positions repeatedly, but the VDV assault groups, displaying courage and bravery, repelled all enemy attempts. Paratroopers from Novorossiysk and Stavropol drove Ukrainian forces out of the city over the course of 3 weeks, increasing the pressure on them each day. The use of ground-based robotic systems to deliver food and water to Russian military positions. At the same time, these robotic systems are being used to evacuate wounded soldiers. Here are images of how robots are being used on the front lines. Don't forget to join our Telegram group. What happened after several Ukrainian infantry soldiers were detected by Russian reconnaissance drones? The reconnaissance drones continuously tracked the Ukrainian soldiers. They transmitted their coordinates to the attack drone operators, and the operation began. Fiber optic drones and drones capable of dropping munitions attacked one after another. In the footage, a Russian fiber optic drone is seen attacking 2 Ukrainian soldiers, but the explosive it carries does not detonate. The 2 soldiers, panicking, quickly move away from their hiding spot and flee to another location. The reconnaissance drones continue to track them, and the operation continues. Unique footage of the Russian ATV evacuation team on the front lines. Thanks to an additional device attached to the back of the ATV, wounded soldiers are being evacuated from the area safely and quickly. Please share your thoughts in the comments on what other types of vehicles could be used for the evacuation of wounded soldiers.
Давай, там может на рэп на наш, давай. Сел? Да. Залазь, братух, залазь. Сел?
Да, все.
Да. Парни, двигайтесь, к вам сейчас еще ребята присоединятся.
Заебись нахуй. Давай на меня выкачивайся.
The video shows several UAV operators working together in one of the areas opposite the Russian state border in the Belgorod region. The operator first records the movements of Ukrainian armed forces soldiers slowly entering the building. It appears they plan to spend the night there. The operators then move calmly and skillfully, first dropping weapons from the helicopter, then attacking with FPV drones. As a result, the temporary staging point and the enemy's hopes for rest are eliminated. We thank the SEVER operators for their accuracy, calmness, and sense of rhythm. Ukrainian forces were providing logistics, supplies, and equipment support to the front line with ground robotic vehicles in the direction of Lipsy. However, Russian drones detected this and destroyed all the robots. Footage of combat operations carried out by the 3rd Combined Arms Army, affiliated with the Southern Forces Group, to destroy the command center and launch site of Ukrainian forces UAVs. North direction. Russian operators are bombing buildings and support structures belonging to the Ukrainian armed forces in the direction of Zaporizhia. This is routine work, enabling them to monitor the positions of Ukrainian forces on the front line 24/7. A group of Russian battle groups found a HIMARS 30 kilometers away. Then, they followed it. HIMARS is on its way after completing its mission. That's when Russia's UAVs swooped in and destroyed the HIMARS with a few strikes. Donetsk direction. A column of 10 ATVs of the Ukrainian armed forces moved from Pavlovka, Sumy region, towards the Russian state border. Using mobile equipment, the Ukrainians hoped to pass unnoticed in the vicinity of the border village of Novy Put, Kursk region. However, the Russian artillery fired back at the Ukrainians, delivering a targeted hit to the concentration of troops. During reconnaissance in the vicinity of Vovchansk, the movement of a group of Ukrainian soldiers was revealed. Taking shelter in a garage, the Ukrainian soldiers thought they were safe. A few minutes later, a Russian FPV drone attacked the building and destroyed it. From the border village of Pavlovka, Sumy region, towards the Russian state border, a Ukrainian armed forces column from the IMR and Western-made armored vehicles advanced. In the vicinity of the village of Novy Put, the Ukrainians were attacked. Engineering vehicles were destroyed. Soldiers of the Russian Airborne Regiment destroyed a Ukrainian Armed Forces armored personnel carrier near Tetkino on the Kursk direction. Russian troops are calling on the enemies in the bunkers to surrender. If they don't answer the call or open fire, there is no turning back. 2 Russian soldiers threw grenades into the bunker and opened fire with rifles. Eventually, they entered the bunker and secured it. In the Kherson direction, Russian fighters are detecting and destroying positions of the Ukrainian armed forces in the settlement. Russian drone operators precisely identify the positions, because there are houses with civilians in the neighborhood. They are sensitive in distinguishing which house has civilians and which house has soldiers. Before the FPV drone attack begins, reconnaissance drones confirm whether the position is a civilian or military position. The 103rd Regiment continues its offensive after the liberation of Dzerzhinsk. It is destroying equipment, bunkers, BC depots, positions and firing points of the Ukrainian armed forces. This is definitely the most interesting military video I have shared on YouTube to date. The military ingenuity of 2 Russian soldiers. They set up an ambush for an FPV drone on a fiber optic cable and cut the cable with scissors.
Падает. Ага.
Operators from the 27th Artillery Regiment of the 6th Division sent a small wake-up call to their opponents. First, they fired at the UAV control center with a drone via fiber optic cable, then added some classic artillery. As a result of the intense bombardment, the UAV control center was destroyed. Don't forget to join our Telegram group. Ukrainian forces drone operators infiltrated the village of Rublinoy, Kharkiv region, at night. The operators set up a command center in one of the old residential buildings, planning to launch drones targeting the Belgorod region. Russian intelligence uncovered the operation in time, and FPV operators destroyed Ukraine's facility and eliminated the equipment. The Russian army is burning Ukrainian armored vehicles in clashes near Chasiv Yar. Russian soldiers are destroying Ukrainian military equipment with precision strikes carried out by KVN unmanned aerial vehicles using fiber optic cables. Destruction of MRAP International Max Pro vehicles used by the Ukrainian armed forces in the Muravka district by Russian drones. China currently has the capacity to produce 500,000 FPV drones per month, and this number can rise to 700,000 in times of war. According to media reports, the PLA conducted 3 large-scale military exercises using the power of a drone swarm, which became one of the key topics discussed between U.S. foreign partners and American representatives at a forum held in Singapore last week. FPV drone operators from the Western group caught 2 soldiers trying to flee from the drone and destroy it with small arms. One soldier managed to escape from the vehicle at the last moment, but 2 soldiers were unable to do so. Bohuslavka region. A Russian armed forces FPV drone approached an infantryman walking alone on the road to salute him. Pokrovsk direction. Kherson direction. During aerial reconnaissance, the 18th Air Force UAV crew detected the movement of Ukrainian armed forces vehicles and the delivery of supplies in the Sadovoye area. As a result of the quick work of the UAV operators and the precise actions of the artillery crew, the target was destroyed.